6 damage shield, please. Oh! So good! Why are we so good at this game? Oh my god, just sack. Hey yo, how's it going everyone? Entropy here today with another video. Today we're going to be doing another GoldPaladin deck profile. This time it's no longer Liberators, it's going to be EZEL. Very exciting. This is the Golden Line Strikes Back. It's actually not bad. It's actually not bad. Back when this set was released, everything was revealed and everything. When I clearly underrated Liberators, when we didn't know all the pieces they would be getting yet, I honestly thought EZEL was a really good deck and really budget friendly at the very least. Right now, you know, with base EZEL being a ranked reward, Planet EZEL being a ranked reward, Sentinels you can always exchange in the metal shop, and everything else really being double rare, it's actually pretty cheap and pretty reasonable if you spent the time over the course of this game to actually, you know, play the deck. This deck plays a bit differently than its previous iterations. Of course, the new EZEL is technically Counterblast 2. You get a refund at the end of the turn if you fulfill all the conditions, but it is more Counterblast heavy, so that's something to consider. You're also playing more self-damagers, so that's another thing to consider. But let's go straight to the deck and see how this deck goes. Objectively speaking, I think Liberators is still definitely the better deck, but this deck is not too shabby. I think this deck stands on itself and is much cheaper than Liberators for sure. So let's start with the triggers. Actually, I think whenever you're not playing 9 draws, I think it's important to recognize that we're playing 9 crits here. Now, we've seen popular EZEL lists play 9 crits or 9 stands in the past, and the reason why is because EZEL just generates a lot of cheap advantage, right? You fill up the board, you get power, you have units that just, you know, help you plus when they get superior called, so you don't necessarily need the draw to actually sustain your play. And this is particularly the case with the new starter, Scarlet Line Cub, Karya. Now, Karya's skill is when this unit boosts an EZEL and the attack hits a Vanguard, count plus 1, put this into your soul, check out the top 4 cards of your deck, and call 2 as rest. This card, you know, exchanges this unit for 2 other units. You don't need to be at limit break to actually use the skill. So if your opponent, or you just don't draw into your self damages, or if your opponent doesn't give you the damage, Karya can still proc 100%. One thing to note is that if your opponent's at 4 or something and if you hit a crit, then you can't really use Karya. But at that point, do you really need Karya is the question. Do you really need Karya at that point? And there are lots of units that plus when you call out, you know, even if it's at rest, you know, it means that you can't multi-attack with it, but it's still really solid. Grade 1 lineup, we're playing 4 self-damagers, 4 of the white line, which is an EZEL self-damager, so it's just an extra 1k, but requires your Vanguard to be EZEL name, and 1 of the Disciple of Pain, which is the generic 6k self-damager. 4 Hill Liberator marks, because your whole deck revolves around LB4. If you don't get to plus, if you're not using EZEL to plus, your deck doesn't plus outside of that, really. Outside of the starter and the grade 3s, you don't really do much, which is a problem. I tried playing with the old PGs because you have so many self-damagers anyways, but sometimes you just don't draw into your self-damagers because you're playing 9 crit, and sometimes your opponent just denies you, and then, well, you know, you can't really do much, right? So I honestly feel like you do need to play the new PG if you're playing 9 crits. If you're playing like mixed draws or something, then I think you can play the older ones because you're just have a higher likelihood of actually naturally drawing into your self-damagers. But yeah, and then 4 of the Din Drain. Again, we're not playing any draws, so you need to sustain your card advantage. Outside of your LB4, Din Drain the way to go. You can superior call this. This is your main target with Karya. Call them out to the back row. Still lasts 1, draw 1. The deck doesn't really use much soul, and you actually have ways to fuel the soul to actually use more Din Drains. So there's that. For the grade 2 lineup, we're playing 4 spirits and 5 spirits, 4 blades, and 1 darks. Superior Call Retire is, you know, really good if you played any EZEL deck, you know, post set 8, BTO 9, set 8. You will know that the spirits pretty carry the deck. You know, Superior Calling, you can choice Superior Call in 0, not like the TCG where you just top call. So it's much more consistent. Caramel's one to retire something is really good. As a Vanguard, 10k vanilla is a good body, and even as a rearguard, it can swing into other 10k bodies as well, so it's really solid. We're playing 3 of the Black Line, which is the EZEL self-damager at 9k, and we're playing 4 Sapphire, Knight of Far Arrow Sapphire. Now, Sapphire is an on place from deck, which means when superior called, soul charge 1 and counter charge 1. So Solar Charge 1 helps you with this, Din Drain, and Counter Charge 1 helps you with, you know, these skills, right? The Counterblast skills, of course. Again, it's slightly more expensive in terms of the counterblasting, especially with Grand EZEL Scissors. So the Counter Charge is really necessary. Your starter uses Counterblast as well. So that's solid. And one last thing is Blaster Blade Liberator. So we're not really using this for the Retire skill. We're using this for the Blaster Blade Liberator name, right? And I'll explain later why. I think I see a lot of this that don't play the Blaster Blade Liberator, but I think it's key. Sapphire, I think you can play with 3 or 4. The Spirits, I think you can play 4 or 5. So if you want one more Blaster Blade Liberator for the consistency, you can do that. Or, of course, adjust and play one more Self-Damager if you want to play the old PGs, okay? Grade 3 lineup, we're playing 4 old EZELs. 4 old EZELs, it's really good. Just counterblast 1, check top 4, call 1, plus, you know, the power of that unit. Plus 1 for each rearguard, not LB4. We play 1 Platinum for the EZEL name, really, for the EZEL name. Counterblast 1, have all your rearguards get plus 5 until end of turn, and this get plus 1 crit. It's an LB5, so it's really rare you'll actually use this in play, but I guess you can cross-ride it to make it LB4. Really too slow for this metagame, but it is an option if your opponent just like dank rushes you. I guess you can still use this as a cheap Counterblast option to YOLO and like hope you seal off the game with that crit attack. Main star of the show, we have Grand EZEL Scissors, Salvation Line Grand EZEL Scissors. Vanguard Limerick 4, Counterblast 2, unlock all your lock cards. Check top 4, do the same thing as the old one. Superior Call, and then if you have exactly 5 rear guards, this gets plus 10 plus 1 crit until end of turn. You can actually use this twice a turn to actually get plus 20 plus 2 crit, so that's something to note. But of course the counter charge, I think you can only the counter charge, you can only use this if you fulfill the conditions of having exactly 5 rear guards, so be careful of that. And then Vanguard, it has the same skill if you have for each of your rear guards to get plus 1k, so that's good, and it cross rises with EZEL as well. So honestly, either normal EZEL or your Scissors is your ride target. Of course, if you're playing against Link Joker, I think going for EZEL Scissors is better. If you haven't seen a lot of your Sapphires or whatever yet, and you're more confident with your counterblast plays, then just go for Grand EZEL Scissors. That extra 10 and a crit is really threatening and really helps you push forward the game. And lastly, we play 4 Zenith. Now Zenith doesn't actually require Liberator names for any of its skill. So that's really good. When your opponent's at 5, the crits are no longer that useful. And Zenith lets you get that multi-attack in. So actually push your opponent. The Superior Call gets plus 10, so it actually hits over numbers, which is really great. And also return triggers to your deck. Of course, if you have a bunch of grade 3s, you can just attack with them and then toss them in. And hope you Superior Call something that's not a grade 3, right? And most importantly, when placed from your deck, return this unit to your deck to call a Blaster Blade Liberator from your deck. If not, call from your drop zone. Now this skill is really important. Some lists just play Zenith because of its multi-attack opportunity. I still like the fact that you can, Superior Call it and then exchange it for a Blaster Blade Liberator. Because, for example, Karia, sometimes if you hit and you checked off 4 and you have 4 triggers, I still like, to rather have a grade 2 than a trigger, right? So that has actually happened. Sometimes you just, call out like a bunch of PGs and like Zenith, and I'd rather get a grade 2 instead. And in some cases, when you ride Zenith, you can still call the Blaster Blade Liberator from your hand, and you can still retire and actually do some stuff with it. So that's something to note if you actually want to see that possible play in play. Check out my day 1 playtesting stream. Of course, I was playing 9 draws back then. I overdrew. I constantly decked out, so I definitely don't think that 9 draw is the way to go, especially if you're playing like Karia or like 4 Din Drains and stuff. But if you want to play draws, again, I think you can play OPGs, you can play less Din Drains, you can play the Grade 3 Searcher instead, you can play less Saphir, you can play the 9k on hit on Flipper instead, you can play more Spirits, I think that's important. That's about it. I've tried the Platina focus build, so 4 Platina, 1 Blonde EZEL instead of 4 Blonde EZEL, 1 Platina. I think that you don't plus enough, really, even if with the 9 draws you don't plus enough. And LB5 is hard to proc, LB5 is hard to proc. You just, it's not worth the investing so many self-damages for that 1 turn of 1 crit. So that's basically the list. Let's go straight into a game and see how this deck plays out. So yeah, I think honestly there's a lot of, I play tested this deck a lot. I've changed a lot of things. Whether that was trying 9 draw and then eventually giving up on 9 draw because you just kept, I just kept overdrawing, trying 9 stands, but then your rearguard numbers don't really hit that well. Generally speaking, your Vanguard numbers, the one that concentrates all the power, stands also require you to invest early, which this deck doesn't really do the best, especially because you don't really do much, you know, except for Karya in your early game. So that's something to consider. Maybe try it yourself and see how you find it. But I honestly find 9 crit the least intrusive and the most aggressive way. Your grade 1, grade 2 turns are still threatening. And then on your grade 3 turn, you can then push and actually expand your board and move forward. So unfortunately, it's not like Joker. It is Kagero. But, you know, very deceiving since it is the LJ Kai skin. Here, we don't really want anything besides the grade 1, grade 2. Ideally, we either want Blonde EZEL or EZEL Scissors. In this case, we want EZEL because you have cheaper superior calls. Kagero is known for its retires, so cheaper superior calls are better. But of course, we end up drawing with the Grand EZEL Scissors once we make that statement. Let's just see how we go. EZEL Scissors is actually better than expected, I think. But again, be careful with the counter blast and the counter charge skill. You really need the full board in order to get the counter charge at the end of the turn. So be mindful of that. Returning, searching for the Dauntless, which just got buffed, so it's really neat. Din Drain. No reason to invest the other one. Unfortunately, we did draw into another heal. Crit! Start applying pressure. Easy sack. Let's go. And if they do choose to play the old PG, which for Kagero I don't really recommend right now because you really do want the Dauntless break ride, well, then we can actually damage deny with Grand EZEL Scissors. And just, you know, checking straight crits. Also possible. So here, if they Berserk Dragon the Karya, that'd be really unfortunate, as it is a main way to plus before we get LB4. But they don't. They choose to use the Conroe. New PG, alright. Nice SP2. Nice SP2. So yeah, Sapphire made me run into a lot of deck out issues, especially played at 4 in a draw variant because it so charges 1-2. So don't make that rookie mistake. If you're gonna play draws, if you feel more comfortable with draws and consistency, then play the Unflipper instead. I forgot the name. Tip of the tongue. But of course we drew into the heels. 2 pairs. White Lion. Interesting. This might be the DDDR list with Nishot. But no, it's a Novel DDDR. It is the DDDR skins after all. Well, who would have knew, right? Who would have knew? That would have been the giveaway. But Dauntless looking swag. Looking good. Looking good. What else are they going to do? They haven't committed anything to the board yet. So, super interesting to see. We know they have 1 PG, but nothing else. Nothing else. Oh, Overlord. Okay. We see the bar. So, putting us to 3. Okay. Denying us the LB4. Crit. Not helpful here. Not helpful here. Draw trigger. Berserk. Playing 2 Berserks. A bit expensive playing both the Berserks. Multiple Berserks and Nishots, but I guess that's a preference. So here I guess we're gonna go for EZEL Scissors for the EZEL name. Plus with the starter. Do some work. Looking good. Oh. Where should we go? Let's go Zenith. Let's call the Din Drain. Attack with Vanguard first. We want the on hit. And if we attack with Vanguard second, if we hit a crit, that means we could, you know, proc PG instead. So that means we can actually plus out the starter, which is not nice. Let's do that, prioritizing that. Ooh, okay, well, we want to retire the Overlord. I guess that's okay. It's not like we're using a Cannon Blast for much anyways. And look at all those triggers. Push that PG out, so that one guaranteed PG is off the table. Be mindful, if they tossed out a non-SP PG, then we know that they still have an SP PG in the drop zone. In the hand, not the drop zone. You know, because we saw that the PG they searched for was SP. So then if they use the SP PG, that means, if they use a non-SP PG, that means that they still have an SP PG in their hand, right? So, again, if you watch the EZEL video, again, it's not just about positioning. It's not just about the same art. Okay. But it's also about rarities, right? Wow, Gigabrain. So something to note. Considering going to DDR, probably you gotta push, my friend. Next turn we just go Ganslot, and then it's pretty GGWP. A push. Setting up the Ganslot here. I mean, we don't have we're not seeing any grade 2s in sight anyways. We do want the damage. And if we Ganslot next turn, then we can always return that Ganslot into the bottom of the deck, and that's a heal in the deck again, right? So that's good. It's good. Cruel Dragon, Overlord. Looks like they were stuck with a bunch of grade 3s. Heal on Cruel Dragon is pretty sad life. Berserk Dragon. What you gonna retire, my friend? On attack, retire something. Thinking? Not gonna do it. Interesting. Guess they get to swing twice. They get to retire twice. BBL. So unfortunately, again, if you play one BBL only, if it ends up in your damage, then your Superior Called Zenith strat doesn't work. And so if you are more conservative, you can play two. Definitely think that's fine. It's just for me, rarely would you really brick that hard, like multiple times in the game. Like if you brick Blaster Blade Liberator and in the drop zone, and then you know check top 4 and it's all triggers, and it's like 4 Zeniths, then well it's like the odds are so low, right? The odds are so low. It does happen, but the odds are really low. Sometimes you just have to take the L. But if you think that you are just you just have really bad luck and you really value that body, then go ahead and play 2 BBLs. I think I tried lists with it. I just valued the counter charge or the spirit retire more. But that is just because you want to Superior Call them more often than your Blaster Blade Liberators. Get rid of the Zenith. So it's a good play. Get rid of the body. Heal trigger. Okay. Okay. That poses a problem. Poses an issue. White Lion. Do we go Zenith or do we stay on EZEL? That's the question. Stretch 2. How many spirits do we have left? We have 2 left. 1, 2. I think the Zenith play is still a better play. I mean, the Zenith play is still a better play here. You have to go Zenith, multi-attack, and push for game. Because unless the first top 4 we hit the spirits, then I don't think we actually have lethal. I don't think we actually have lethal. Let's see here. We're going to attack here. Call Sentinel. Shield Bash. And then we're going to switch out the PG. Disciple. Heal trigger. That's nice. Let's give it to the EZEL. Come on. Come on. Oh, Disciple of Pain seals the game. Nice. Alright, very cool. So unfortunately they didn't draw into any other PGs, but that's just how it is sometimes. Let's go for another game. Real quick, let's see what we can do. Mythgard. Mythgard's interesting, yes. But yeah, crits help early game push, and then, you know, you proc your little plus skills here and there to actually set up your board before your LB4 turn, and then it's good like that. Royal Paladins, Jewel Knights maybe, Sanctuary of Light maybe, let's see how it goes. We have the OG EZEL, that's pretty good. Spirits, are you okay holding it? I guess I'm okay holding it. Let's toss one away and see what happens, because we do want them in the deck, especially since we're holding onto old EZEL. Zenith, of course it's Zenith, of course. Jewel Knights, all right. Let's see how we go. I think Tiffany is getting more and more popular recently. I still like the old one more, but I don't play Jewel Knights, so don't really think I'm a credible source for that. So do go ask other Jewel Knight peers if that's something you're considering. Let's just read the White Lion starter. Always put behind your Vanguard. Always put behind your Vanguard. I guess sometimes if you know that your hand doesn't have any grade 2s and you know that you're bound to just call it EZEL to the front row, then I guess you can put this corner. But generally speaking, you know, you're gonna ride a grade 3. You're gonna ride a grade 3, and most of your grade 3s are EZELs. So, and it's not really that nice to call it a grade 3 to your front row when your early game isn't that strong. Like, you don't have much defense in your early game, so. That's an annoying card. Tilda, Karmas 1+1. Yes, draw all the triggers, my friend. Yes, I like that. One, two, three. Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna call out the line, because if our opponent has 3 columns, they're just gonna go Rigard to Rigard and then 2 hits to the Vanguard, right? So we'll be at 4 damage anyways. So let's just go call it out. So we don't get put to 5. If they can hit the numbers, that'd be annoying. And Tiffany can help them do that, definitely. Ashley. SP rank reward. Spicy. I like that. Melmi. Ooh, that's 1 PG. It's a 50-50 chance that they lose that PG, which is nice odds to me. No triggers. And solid card, helps you hit numbers again. So it's really likely that, yeah, it's likely that they just, you know, put us to 5 if we didn't call it the grade 2. PG. So now 100% put the PG back. We don't see any heals because they're all in our hand. Evidently our opponent doesn't know that, but just go ride the SP EZEL. Break. Just fill up the board. Oh, Sapphire is a free card, because we get to countercharge. Get the AK. Do we still charge? Alright. Let's call it this. Boost our Sapphire. And remember, if you ride the Blaster Blade Liberator, Soul Blast the Blaster Blade Liberator, so you can actually use your Zenith, right? Spirit is good. The draw is good. What do we do? Let's go for the draw. We're having a pretty dead hand, dry hand right now, so the draw would be nice. PG is good, and let's save the Card Blast for another turn. We could still do Zenith and other plays as well, so save it for later. Heal trigger is good, very good. Thank you so much. Yeah, one thing you notice is that because I'm playing Sapphire at 4, and like a lot of 6K grade 1s, your columns don't really have the numbers, the magic numbers, in order to take advantage of stand triggers. And that's why I found stand triggers not really working well for me. Not just the fact that you can't really plus early in game outside of Karya, but even plussing with Karya, that's like your turn 3 turn, right? So it's a bit rough. And generally speaking, Karya, you proc more often than not if you're going first, because your opponent would still be at grade 2 and like less you know, stuff on board. So okay, I think here EZEL Scissors could be nice. Here we go rearguard to Vanguard, and then Vanguard 2 crit to face as well. Guaranteed to proc out 1 PG. So remember to call up have 4 rearguards, so you can actually use your EZELs +10 +1 crit and the counter charge. All the way 2. Karya actually helps you fulfill your scissors. Oh my god, that's so stupid. I forgot it's 12k! Ah, fat fingered. I fat fingered. Let's hit a crit. There you go. Well, you know, even if you fat finger, just sack, right? Just sack. PG. Okay. All good, all good, all good. We're just damage denying. Going for the 13k numbers and maybe using limit break. But why call out the? Oh, you want the LB4? Yes, of course. Sure. I think maybe they forgot that they weren't at LB4. But you know. Gigabrain intentionally whiff in order to misguide your opponent. Wow, it's intentional fat finger question mark. So here if they call out the Miranda, it only hits 11k, so it doesn't hit our 13k Vanguard number, right? So oh well, there you go. The Tiffany coming into play. Don't know why you give the +3 to side build, just give it to the Vanguard, right? But because now it's like, you know, it hits 16, but does it have an on-attack power? No. Should have given the Vanguard from Tiffany to Vanguard. Okay. Nothing. Cancel out. Liberator. Retire. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Let's see. What do we want to do here? If I go cancel out, I can use possibly retire something. Attack, 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 attack. I guess that's fine. How many grade 2s do we have left? It's not odds are not in our favor. Check top 4 call. We have 1 spirit left. I think the Zenith is the better play at this moment. Cornered, but we can still make it happen. So attacking with the rear guard that you're going to bounce, make sure that you hit those numbers. So toss the Zenith back. Platinum. Come on, we have so many triggers! What is this? Oh no. We do have 1 heal left, that's possible. The other one's guaranteed to be at the bottom of the deck, so it's a bit rough, but it is how it is. We burnt through the grade 2s, all ended up in the damage zone, so can't really do much about that. Lock 2, retire 1. So yeah, we have to hit the heal. If we do, we have a good shot. If we don't, actually no. Even if we heal, we don't. Do we have a good shot? I guess we can still swing 1 extra time with Zenith. So, let's see. 6 damage shield, please. Oh! So good! Why are we so good at this game? Oh my god, just sack. Just sack. Let's go. Let's go. Oh wow. We still have a shot. We still have a shot. Let's make it happen. It assumes our opponents and Mirandas have whiffed, but it's a better shot than 0%, right? EZEL coming back in. Scissors. Sealing the deal. Crit. Come on, OPG, please. Come on. No. It's certified over. Dreams are dead. Thank you so much. Well played. Well played. Well played. So, there you have it. This is what happens sometimes. We're gonna just sit here, take the L, and reflect on our misplays. I think we called out the grade 2s earlier, so we don't get rushed too much. I think that's good. Going EZEL, maybe saving that counterblast wasn't that great, but it did come in early. I think maybe going to Zenith was the misplay. Maybe guaranteeing another grade 2 would have been better. But yeah. Zenithing at 3 may be too risky, I think. But the Blaster Blade Liberator was too enticing for the guarantee retire, you know? We could have pushed for game there. Fat Finger didn't help too. But yeah, that's basically the list. 1 win, 1 loss, unfortunately. Some things that you see might not work out too well is or might work well is that even when your opponent's at 3 and you go for the scissor swing, if you hit a crit, it's a guaranteed PG and damage denying play, right? So I guess 9 crits help you make that possible. Sapphire guaranteed, you know, it's basically a free superior call with Blonde EZEL because you get to refund it, so it's really good like that. Blaster Blade Liberator, even though it's at the 1, it is possible to actually use a retire skill. You know, from the 2 games from today and the 3 games from the stream, I think it happened 2 times, so it's like, you know, 20% happened. It happened like what, 2 out of 5, so what's that, 40% of the time, I guess. It's a really small sample size, doesn't mean anything, but it is possible is what I'm saying. Self-damager is good. Of course, if we drew into them earlier and not had to ride them and just not see any grade 2s, it would help. But yeah, like both games, we saw a lot of grade 3s in hand, but EZEL can still recuperate because it can still plus off the deck really efficiently. And that's all this deck is about. Apply pressure, superior call, retire, multi-attack, crit, and win games. So that's it for this list. Hope you enjoy. Let me know if you have any changes you've made. Let me know how you've been playing with EZEL. I know some of you really like EZEL. I personally like Liberators slightly more. You just have more options. You're covering more of your bad matchups, like Garmor covering Kagero, like, you know, and so on and so forth. I can say better early game, I guess, but EZEL is actually a really solid deck. It definitely made the Blonde EZEL or the EZEL archetype a lot stronger this support, and I can't wait to see more from EZEL. So let me know down below which one you like. How about that? Which one you like, EZEL or Liberators? If you had to pick one, which one would you prefer? Whether that's gameplay or art or I guess character using it, you know, Takuto or Aichi. And if you have a different list or if you have a different approach, let me know down below so we can chat about it, because, you know, deck building, there's never the perfect list. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, like it, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye!